Hi, this is Mary from Growing Puppies, and I'm here with Angel and her little babies. They were born on Friday, so they're 2 days old, and they're doing good. They're all doing well. She has 2 girls and 3 boys. So let's take a look at the little babies. And for other breeders, this is a good opportunity to talk about how you can tell if a puppy is healthy. When puppies are first born, sometimes they're a little lethargic. You know, if one of your puppies is not nursing, is just lying there, or is limp, that would be a dangerous sign. A little puppy, a newborn puppy, should be very active. When you pick them up, they should be squirming like this little one. And usually when they're born, or often when they're born, well, they could be plump like this, or sometimes you can see their ribs, which is often the case, and their skin is very tight, where their eyes seem to bulge more and their skin is very wrinkly. And that, if you see that, and if you can pinch a little bit of you pinch it up and it doesn't flatten out right away, that would be a sign of dehydration. And sometimes you have little puppies like that. When I have a puppy that's dehydrated, I have something called fading puppy, which is a little powder that has electrolytes and glucose and vitamins and minerals. And I right away mix some of that up, and I give them just a couple little, what do you call it? A few little, milliliters, I guess. Yeah, just very small amount, because they have really small tummies. So maybe half a teaspoon, and that is really important to give them a little bit of extra, glucose that will increase their blood sugar, perk them up a bit, and then it'll also hydrate them, and the electrolytes will help them be able to become hydrated as well. And so that's really important. I do that right away as soon as they're born. I also, another important thing that I use, which again, this is for other breeders who might be looking at this at some point, I use Nurture Mate, which is it's a support for newborns' immune system and colostrum antibodies and B vitamins, and it has glucose in it as well. So as soon as they're born, I will squirt just a tiny bit of that in their mouth, and that will often perk them up. The important thing is you just want these puppies to start nursing right away, to become very as strong as quickly as possible, because if they're sluggish at all when they're first born, if they aren't nursing, then that can set them back, and you can lose a puppy very quickly if you don't make sure that they're nursing well. So the other thing I do is I have right here my trusty little puppy scale, and let's see here, I just turn it on. It zeroes out right away with the little basket on top, and I take the smallest puppy and I put him in there, and we see this little puppy is weighing 4.2 ounces, and that's up from what he was when he was born, because he was in the I think he was like 3.9 or something when he was born. So he's gained a couple little points there, and that's the main thing, is we want to make sure that they're every day increasing weight and not staying the same. If I had any concern that a puppy was not eating, if I came in here and the puppy had not gained weight from the day before, I would right away go and check it. If it was not dehydrated, if it looked like it was hydrated well, I would probably go get some of the goat's milk puppy formula. And for a 4-ounce puppy, I would give it, oh golly, I'm trying to think, I think about 1 ounce, or not 1 ounce, 1 cc, which is a teaspoon actually, but it's a cc is a little syringe, and I would syringe very, very slowly the puppy formula into the puppy to make sure that it was getting some nutrition. And certainly if it's nursing, you can see it nursing, it's probably getting something from its mom, but sometimes they just add a little bit, a little syringe, and to check it later in the day. If it still hasn't gained any weight, then I'll feed it another feeding. I don't usually go all out giving it the full amount of formula that it would eat in a day, because I usually expect that they will be getting nutrition from their mom, and it is better that they nurse from their mom because the mom has colostrum, which is antibodies for the baby that are very important for the baby to be able to fight off any kind of illness that it should come upon. So I try to encourage them to eat on their own as much as possible, and I might give them a little extra something. And that extra something, if you think you need it, if you think your puppy is not gaining weight, you should not hesitate at all. I remember when I first started raising puppies, the idea of giving it a little bottle was very intimidating to me because they don't actually take bottles. You have to really syringe it in, and you have to be very careful not to shoot milk down their throat, because what will happen is they could aspirate it and then get pneumonia. So these puppies have to be handled very carefully. The other thing you have to be super careful about is that the puppies do not get chilled. If you come and you pick up a puppy and it is not warm to the touch, then that is a problem, and you have to remedy that right away. Sometimes you could just put the puppy right up close to the mom and make sure that it's very close, and if it's sleeping right up under the mom, then it will warm up. But the other thing you can do is you can actually put the puppy close to your own skin and sit with it next to your own skin for a little while, warm it up that way. There are some breeders who will just put on a sports bra and put their little puppy in their bra to make sure it's in there tight and close, and then give it a meal after a while. So the thing is that you cannot feed a cold puppy. A cold puppy does not digest the food. And so that's number one in neonatal puppy care, is that you do not ever feed a cold puppy. So I also have right next to this little puppy thing, I have my little heater here, and I keep right next to the puppy pen a little temperature gauge, and you see right now that it's a nice warm day, 79.9. That's a nice warm temperature. I think usually I keep it up in the mid 70s is good for a little litter. On cold days, that means that my little heater is going constantly. And I'll do what I need to do to make sure these puppies are kept warm. Would never ever put a puppy in the garage. Some breeders breed puppies in their litters in their garage. I do not recommend that. The draftiness of a garage, even if you put heaters in, would most likely kill your puppies. And newborns they cannot regulate their own body temperature. It's a very bad idea to try and raise this breed of puppy. I don't know if there's maybe some breeds that would be okay. I don't know. All I can say is that I would not try it with these puppies at any point. Not in Virginia. Maybe in the South you can do that. But I'm very careful. I won't even put my puppies on the lower floor of this house. We have a basement, and when older puppies can stay down there, if the temperature's in the right, the right amount, usually in the 70s, then it's fine. But in the winter, it can get a little chillier down there, and I would never put a newborn litter down in my basement unless I had a supplementing heating source, because that is the coldest part of my house. And my basement's a pretty well heated basement, but it's colder than the upper floor because of course heat rises. So I usually keep a brand new puppy litter in my bathroom for the first several days, and that is so that I can listen all night for the puppies. Why do I need to listen? Because puppies that are well fed, listen, there is no noise. They are not crying. They are well fed, they're warm, their needs are being met. Not all of them are eating, some are sleeping, but they should not be crying. If you hear crying puppies at night, what I do is I jump up, I look to see what's going on. There may be a puppy that got separated from the mother in the litter and is maybe on the other side of the pen and cold, and for whatever reason isn't able to get back to the mom right away. I don't waste any time. I just come in, I go in, pick up the puppy, put it on one of the mom's nipples so that it can nurse, or tuck it in close so that it can nurse on its own, and that's what I do. And I will usually sleep next to a litter at least for the first few days until I see that all the puppies are nursing really, really well. So these are some good tips for any person who is a new breeder who hasn't raised puppies before. And at some point I will do another video on how to bottle feed newborn puppies, because there is a lot to that, and it's really hard to find good information on the internet. And if you don't know what you're doing, then typically a puppy will not make it. But I've read some neonatal puppy care books by Maria Savant, who is a leading expert in newborn puppy care, and her information is very helpful. Her book is sold on Amazon, and it's a good idea to get something like that. The book is actually, I think, a seminar that was put into written form, and unfortunately, I think the format is not as good as it could be, but the information is there, and so I thought, it would be a good idea for me to share how I raise puppy bottle fed, because I have had puppies who could not nurse because they were too weak, and sometimes it's hard. Bottle fed puppies do not gain weight like the breastfed puppies. So you do have to know what you're doing to not overfeed them, to give them the right amount, but to also increase it just enough so that they can gain weight on the bottle. So anyway, that will be in another video, and just anyway, at least here you can see what a healthy newborn puppy looks like, and if there's any question that a puppy is not eating well, you cannot wait to take action. And at this point, I'm feeling pretty comfortable with these puppies. Because they were born on a Friday, they could not get their dew claws done right away. Sometimes they take them the next day or on day 2. They will have to go on Monday, which would be good. The vet will be able to look them over. And I'll just mention one more thing about a newborn puppy, is you do want to check the umbilical cord. So see that little red spot there is where the umbilical cord was attached, and it usually dries up and falls off within 2 to 3 days. As you can see, that puppy's umbilical cord is no longer there, but you can see the little red spot where the puppy umbilical cord was attached. So you need to keep an eye on those umbilical cords and make sure that they are healing properly, and there's nothing oozing or coming out of those umbilical cords. You want to make sure that those little belly buttons on these puppies are healing as they should. And normally I don't have to do anything special. I sometimes will apply a little styptic powder when they're newborn, but at this point they look pretty good, and I'll have the vet check them over again on tomorrow morning, which is Monday. And Mom's doing great. Did give her a little puppy bath when she was born, but when the puppies were born, I usually do that every few days. She hasn't had a bath for I guess since yesterday. She could probably use another one. But she's doing good. She's staying with her puppies all day, and the other puppies are wanting to be with me right now. But anyway, I know that was kind of too much information for most people, but if anybody breeds puppies, that is valuable to know what a newborn litter should look like. Have a good day. We'll keep you posted on how these puppies grow.